Mother's Day has just passed by for much of the world, and yet one mother still remains thoroughly unloved. Mother 3, the third Earthbound game, was released over 14 years ago in Japan, but still hasn't been officially translated into English. The question, put to us by msonic47, is why? Why hasn't Mother 3 been localised yet? This topic is so hotly debated that it's long since become a meme by this point. Even Nintendo is in on the joke. One digital presentation shows Reggie Fils-Aime setting someone on fire for asking him about Mother 3. His frustration is palpable. When asked about the game during a talk at Cornell University after his retirement in 2019, Reggie said, "I actually thought I would make it through a presentation and not be asked about Mother 3. Come on!" Luckily for me, this is a decision that I'm no longer part of. Nintendo employees are understandably hesitant to address the subject. In 2015, Nintendo Treehouse employee Chris Pranger was fired for discussing how Nintendo selects games for localization. He said, "And people are like, why do you guys hate money? We don't. That's why you literally can't make everything. And people don't like finding out that their fan base is actually too small to justify the cost of the thing they want." With Chris literally losing his job over publicly defending Nintendo's localization decisions, Nintendo employees are very reluctant to talk about Mother 3. In the absence of official comments, rumours and speculation abound. We can't give a definitive reason behind the lack of an English language Mother 3. Ordinarily, we build our videos by researching first-hand quotes, but in this case, there are none. In their absence, we are instead turning to reputable journalists within games media. In particular, we spoke to friend of the channel Jonathan Holmes, an incredibly talented journalist and artist with contacts within Nintendo who wish to remain anonymous. Writing about the subject for Destructoid, Jonathan said that, according to one source, hopes for a Mother 3 release in the West died with Satoru Iwata. The anonymous source is quoted as saying, "You never know what's going to happen, but the way it looks right now, under Nintendo's current administration, Mother 3 will never leave Japan." Iwata was a consistent advocate for Nintendo of America to at least look at the possibility of Mother 3 finding a new audience in the United States and Europe. With him gone, there is no one at Nintendo pushing for it anymore. Several journalists have claimed that Nintendo was at one point working on a Mother 3 translation. In 2016, Tom Phillips wrote an article for Eurogamer claiming that work was underway. According to Game Informer's Imran Khan, this translation was started, but never finished. He said, "Mother 3, as far as I know, is a dead end. It was full steam ahead for a while, but upon re-evaluation there were aspects of the game that weren't going to go without controversy." The game, in its original Japanese form, contains several elements that are problematic, to say the least. We won't go into them in too much detail, but one problem is a series of characters who are rather offensive stereotypes of trans women. It seems that Nintendo's localization team couldn't find a solution to this that wouldn't upset someone. No matter what, releasing the game would create a PR nightmare. Without adjustment, the game would upset trans rights groups, and, perhaps even more troublesome, conservative parent groups who would be equally offended by the stereotypes. Change the game to remove problematic parts, and the very Nintendo fans who cry out for Mother 3 would start complaining of censorship. So, the decision was made to shelve the project. There was just no winning. But, in our last video, we explored how Nintendo carefully decides whether or not to take down fan works that use their assets. It's worth noting that, to date, Nintendo has not issued a DMCA takedown against the most well-known Mother 3 fan translation. We're not saying that Nintendo is turning a blind eye to the project, but if you said that, we wouldn't correct you. As for the moral of the story, we want to make our position clear. Trans rights are human rights. If Japanese culture were more tolerant of its trans population, and didn't offensively parody them in popular culture, who knows? Perhaps Mother 3 would have been released in English years ago.